Welcome back to another vlog. We are here in Ultraflex York, and today is a day off training in terms of rugby, but not a complete day off training because we are getting some extra volume in, which we can't necessarily get at training. A couple different machines, just trying to get a full upper body session, bit of a top up on volume. Probably going to get 3 sets per muscle group in the upper half of the body today at Ultraflex. So I'm going to take you through that and sort of explain why I'm here doing a bit of extra volume. So I'm starting off here on the incline bench. We are going to be going for 3 walking sets here on the incline bench. Going to hit chest, back, shoulders, buys and tries on today's upper body session. Just getting an overall 3 sets per muscle group volume additional away from rugby. As I said, we don't always get to target and isolate muscles in the certain ways that I like to do so, to optimize growth, get that extra bit of hypertrophy in, especially seeing as we have a weekend off this weekend. So no reason not to get a bit of extra volume in. When we're talking about session planning and prepping for a session, you need to have a clear outcome of your session. So for example, today's session is, we don't have a match this Sunday, it's a Wednesday, so middle of the week, still going to train Thursday, Friday, and then we have the weekend off. So the outcome of today's session is to get some additional volume into my training without accumulating too much fatigue, so the load doesn't have to be too heavy. Focusing on that 8 to 12 rep range, getting in that hypertrophy range, taking the muscle through full range of motion. It's not strength training today, it is all about muscle growth and maintaining that tissue that I built while I was injured after my shoulder operation, maintaining that bit of tissue that I've built and potentially putting some more on. It is not a strength training day, as I said. So when you come into your session and approach what you're doing, you need to have a clear outcome of what you're trying to do in order to progress. If you're coming in middle of the week as an athlete and going for a strength training day, a max power day, it's probably unrealistic if you're playing back-to-back games. So it's really important to actually sit down and identify what is the goal outcome of the session. Take 2, I've already actually done a working set of this, but it turned out I wasn't really in the shot. So we're on the machine side lateral. This has been in my program for about 4 to 6 weeks from when I was returning to play, and I'm keeping it in now for the return while I'm playing games. So a bit of extra side delt shoulder volume. We train a lot of pushing, landmine and dumbbell shoulder pressing. We're just hitting 3 extra sets on that side delt. Today I've already done one working set, got 12 reps, gonna try again. And yes, I am repping the Crocs in the gym today. Feet are sore, it's an upper day, it's a Crocs gym kind of day. Let's do it. Like I discussed at the start of this session about finding the outcome of what you're looking to do. When you're training for muscular growth, you need to know what way to train. So we're looking for time under tension, long reps, long stretches on the muscle, slight pause at the top or the bottom depending on what we're doing. So for example, on this, I'm looking for a long, full range side lateral, trying to get that full muscle stretch, little pause at the top and slow on the eccentric as well. So that is important when you're training, to actually know what type of tempo you're looking for. Like when you're not doing power training, you're not doing strength training, when you're looking for muscular growth, which is the outcome. If not, you're going to just be wasting your sets, accumulating fatigue and not actually getting the benefit. So if you're doing like, let's just say you're doing a dumbbell bench, incline dumbbell bench, and you're doing like 8 reps, but you're bouncing it off your chest, you're rushing through the reps where you have a mad heavy weight. You'd probably be better off dropping the weight, controlling the eccentric, slight pause, full stretch through the chest, not a half rep, and slow on the way up, feeling that chest contraction if it's hypertrophy that we're actually looking for. So it is important to know what we're targeting when we're training. Last set of these bad boys. Let's go. Next up, we're hitting the back. So we've done chest, shoulders, getting some back volume in, and we don't have a lat pull down at training. I think the lats get neglected massively in my rugby sessions throughout the week. So nice to get some targeted lat training in the program as well. 3 working sets is the first working set now. Concentrating on that squeeze and contraction here. Thing about training is so many people spend so much time trying to find the best exercise, the most optimal exercise. Whereas if you actually just concentrate on progressively overloading with good form and technique the exercise that you're working on, even if it's not the most optimal, your gym doesn't have X, Y, or Z, you will progress. Your muscles will grow. You will create stimulus to create adaptation. But if you spend so much time mentally thinking about what is the best way of doing it, or oh, my gym doesn't have that, or all these excuses, you actually won't just crack on, train hard and progress. So over my years of training, I've found what works for me in terms of what exercises I prefer, what machines I like to use, the amount of volume that I can fit in around rugby training, the things that work, the things that don't. But when you're initially starting out, you don't need to overthink those kind of things. You're going to create adaptation through stimulus, and over years and years of training and learning, you will actually find what works best for you and what exercises that actually fit you right. But initially, you just need to focus on progressively overloading with an adequate stimulus for probably the first 3 years of training, and then you will start to see what is the best way to do it for you. Second working set anyways. So it is about my 6th week in a row running this overhead tricep extension machine, and there's a reason for that. If you are changing your machines every single week for your triceps, for your biceps, for any muscle group, how are you going to have any metric for progression? As I always say, it's like running a 100-meter sprint one day, running a 5K the next, wondering why your 100-meter time's not getting any better, or vice versa. So this is my 6th week on this, in this training block. I've really been enjoying it. I've been making progression on reps, on sets, on overall volume on this. But again, that would not happen if I wasn't just knocking on the door, continuously targeting the same exercise over and over with intent, intensity and form. So this is the reality of training. I wouldn't be a good trainer if I didn't practice what I preach, in terms of I load my clients up with the same 4 to 6 week microcycles within their training. So if I actually didn't train that way, I'd just be lying really. Last exercise of the session, 3 sets on the biceps, preacher curl, boys, tries. We do hit a little bit of training, but in particular triceps, we don't have any machines. We have no tricep extension. We just do banded. And then obviously a bit of secondary action through our benches and through our pressing movements. Biceps, we can do a bit of dumbbell curls, but nice to actually isolate them on a preacher. Last little bit of work for the day. Full upper body session finished up now. Feeling good, have a decent pump on, which is a good sign of a good session, as well as getting a little bit of extra volume in this week. Just to bring it back again and echo the point that I'm trying to get at is, if you are structuring your training well, you will be able to fit a little bit of extra volume in around your sport. If you're recovering well, and adding those extra couple sets can be the difference between actually holding on to that little bit of tissue in season and actually having that muscle atrophy and losing that little bit of tissue throughout the season. In general, it is really important to make sure that even if you're not getting that extra session in, that the sets that you're doing within your rugby training are being pushed hard enough to try keep your strength and maintain that muscle mass. But if you do need a little bit of extra bodybuilding type training, a bit of extra hypertrophy, it is actually really good to get in on your days off if you're feeling fresh enough and get a little bit of extra stuff done. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in the next vlog.